Welcome to the Afterspin, opinions from thought leaders in our state. I want to ask Joe Mavretic and Tamara Beringer, reports coming out of Farmville about the health of Congressman Walter Jones are not good, and it appears he might not be able to return to Congress even though he was elected handily last November. I want to ask you, what is Walter Jones's legacy in Congress and in North Carolina? And are there suggestions about who might want to replace him? Joe, I'll start with you. I know you're friends with him.
Well, first of all, Walter Jones is my friend. Walter Jones was my political ally. When Walter went to Washington, my wife Laura and I would go to Washington probably once a year and have a meal with Walter. I've talked to him after every primary and after every general election. So, you know, I'm tired with him. I tell people that he's like my second cousin. Let me address the last part of the question first. McLaughlin, I think his name was, Palumbo, and Griffin are three people that Walter beat by 20 points.
Handy margin.
And so I suspect that they may be considering another run against Walter. What his legacy is, I think the most interesting thing is what happened when he couldn't be sworn in. A fellow representative,
Democrat,
different ethnic, different politics, different backgrounds, whatever you can figure out a difference between G.K. Butterfield and Walter Jones is right, and G.K. came all the way to Farmville to swear him in, and I think that sent a message that if you haven't picked up on that, then you don't get it, that people of different political persuasions can not only work together, but they can be great friends. And comrades.
Yeah. Tamara, Walter was out of the legislature by the time that you got elected, but he's been a congressman now for many years. You're thinking about his legacy.
Tenacious, courageous. I think the bottom line is that he personifies the new North Carolina voter, the independent, unaffiliated voter that does not identify particularly with or kowtow to any particular party or any particular philosophy. He always did what he thought was the right thing to do.
There's no question about that.
And let me pick up on what Tamara said, because I think it's important that he not only represents what's appearing in North Carolina, but he also represents what the Founding Fathers expected. You don't go to Washington in the House to be told what to do. You don't go to Washington to the House and be told, if you don't do what we tell you to do, we're going to punish you. That's not what the Founding Fathers anticipated. I mean, for goodness sake, think about Walter. Walter said, I'm not going to spend my time being a congressman looking out for my district on the telephone trying to raise money for a caucus that's going to hire people and recruit people to run against me. Come on. I have only one thing in Washington, Walter has said many times, and that's my vote. And I'm not going to waste it. I'm not going to give it away.
And that Republican caucus did run candidates against him.
Absolutely.
No question. Well, I don't usually get involved in these after-spin questions, but can I add 2 cents here? Because I got to tell you, I've watched Walter since he was in the legislature and now in Congress, and have the utmost respect for this congressman. I just got to, aside from the fact that he always watches NC-Spin. Even when he's in Washington, he tapes it and he watches NC-Spin, so that we appreciate. The thing I like, Tamara, going back to what you said, is his independence.
Yes.
He was his own man. He voted what he thought was right for his constituents in his district. That's what these guys are supposed to do. That's exactly what you said. But let me tell you something else. From a human level, Walter Jones sits down and writes a letter to the families of every soldier that's been killed in action in our country. He feels like it's his moral imperative that if these people put their lives on the line, that they need to know there's a grateful nation, and he is going to be the person that expresses that, and forever, in my opinion, he will be held in esteem. Well, thank you for watching the After Spin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.